Hi everyone, welcome back to the kitchen. We continue on our budget-friendly Thanksgiving theme with this dessert, a delicious no-bake pumpkin cheesecake pie that is gonna blow your mind. It's so delicious and it's so easy, and I can't wait to show you how this all comes together. Today we're gonna make a really simple Thanksgiving dessert, or it can be for any time, but with our focus on our budget-friendly Thanksgiving, I'm also focusing on dishes that are super easy to make for those among us who may have never cooked a Thanksgiving meal, and due to the current situation, that may be what they're doing this year for the first time, or maybe they've never done the whole meal by themselves. So today we're gonna focus on dessert. We're gonna be making this really delicious, no-bake pumpkin cheesecake pie. It's so good, you guys. I made one to test out on the family, and 100% approval. It's just so good, and it really does have a great pumpkin flavor, and I know you're gonna love it. We're gonna start off with a graham cracker pie shell. Now, for those of you who are more experienced, please feel free to make your own graham cracker shell or shortbread shell, or even you put this in a blind baked pastry shell, up to you. I'm using the extra large pie shell because I like the way the filling sets in here. It doesn't overfill the pie, and they say you get 2 extra slices out of it, but this is the large one. So look for that if you can. I prefer it. Otherwise, use what you got. 1 cup of pureed pumpkin, not pumpkin pie filling. This is just straight pumpkin out of a can. You can double this recipe and use 1 whole can, and that will work. We're gonna use 1 cup of whipping cream, 1 box of instant vanilla pudding, and this is French vanilla flavor. You can use just plain vanilla, whatever you like. 1 brick of cream cheese softened at room temperature. We're gonna use a tablespoon of vanilla extract. I have enough in here to make my whipped cream topping as well. A teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and 1/4 cup of sugar. And then I have another 1/4 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of ultra gel that I'm gonna use because I'm gonna make whipped cream topping for this. You can use Cool Whip if you so desire. That is perfectly fine. If you prefer to use Cool Whip on top, please feel free to do that. I'm not gonna go over how to make the whipped cream. I'm just gonna make it because I've made whipped cream in a video before. I'll link down below, and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna bring the mixer over and we'll start whipping up this filling. All right, the first thing we wanna do is break up and whip our cream cheese just a little bit because we wanna make sure it's softened and completely room temperature. Now, whenever you make anything with cream cheese, I highly recommend that you allow it to sit on the counter for a couple of hours. Just try and remember to take it out of the fridge. When you thaw things in the microwave or soften them up, they tend to either get too hot in some spots and not hot enough in others. With cream cheese, especially if you're making a cheesecake, if you don't have it perfectly soft, it gets lumpy, and you don't want that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a whip and soften it up, and then we're gonna add the whipped cream, and we're gonna whip those two together until we have a nice whipped cream cheese filling. It just takes a couple of seconds, really. And now that you know your cream cheese is nice and soft, I'm gonna go ahead and add our whipping cream. Now this is heavy cream, and then I'm gonna start off slow so it doesn't splash too bad, and increase. And then as the whipped cream begins to stiffen and combine with the cream cheese, everything's gonna come together in a nice, soft, cohesive mixture. You're gonna wanna get in there a couple of times with your spatula and scrape down the sides. I don't have a beater blade for this particular mixer. That is definitely something on my list to grab. If you have a KitchenAid, if you have a beater blade, you know how wonderful it is to have that. You'll be able to tell as the cream starts to thicken, the mixture will start to definitely appear to become thicker. So at that point, you want to get in there with your spatula and scrape it down, and then let it continue to beat for another couple of minutes until you have a nice thick consistency. Now we're going to go ahead and check it. You can see how much thicker it is now, but I'm going to go ahead and scrape down, and then we're going to go ahead and turn it on low and add in our sugar. Now, I will tell you, the first pie I made, I did not add any sugar to it, and it was delicious, but I would have preferred that the filling be just a touch sweeter. So we're gonna add 1/4 cup of sugar while the mixer is running. And then just gradually shake it in, get it well incorporated, give it a good whip. And now we'll continue on. Next thing we're gonna add is our pumpkin and our vanilla instant pudding. And we're gonna beat this slowly until everything's mixed well. And then we're gonna kick it up a bit. But right now I'm gonna add half of my vanilla extract. So you choose a tablespoon, a teaspoon, whatever makes you happy. And I'm gonna go ahead and add my pumpkin pie spice in here. And then I'm gonna crank it up just for a moment. That pudding is gonna help bring this filling together. It's gonna help thicken it. It's gonna help solidify it once you put it in the refrigerator, and it's gonna help you make beautiful slices once you get ready to cut this pie. And that is your filling for our no-bake pumpkin cheesecake pie. Now, say what you will about no-bake pies, but for Thanksgiving, especially for the holidays, when you are bogged down or in a hurry, or maybe this is your first rodeo, making something simple is always the best course of action. This can be made a couple of days in advance, stick it in your fridge, and then it'll be ready on the day of your big meal. I'm gonna get in here and scrape down. Now we're gonna build our pie. Okay, here we go. I went ahead and I put this in a separate bowl because I mixed up my whipped cream topping. And you guys, if you get little flecks of cream cheese that didn't blend in all the way, because you know the way those bowls are done, don't worry about it. It's no sweat. Just spread it out in here, nice and even. I went ahead and I put my whipped cream in a Ziploc bag, and I cut the corner off. I'm using a 1M tip. So we'll just go ahead and pipe a nice border around the edge. And then we'll just cover the entire top with whipped cream. And as a finishing touch, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of pumpkin pie spice in a colander and tap it over. And there's our no-bake pumpkin cheesecake pie, all ready to go. This one is actually, because I made one, I'm not going to cut into this. This is a gift for someone. One of the families in our congregation had a baby, and I signed up to take them dinner, so this is going to be their dessert. And I thought it was festive and it was appropriate for the time and the season, and I'm really pretty sure they're going to enjoy it. So I'm not going to cut into this one, but I have the one that I made the other night. It doesn't have pretty piping on the top because I just slapped the whipped cream on top with a spatula, and you can do the same thing also. Don't feel like you need to do what I did. I'm going to cut a slice of that, I'm going to bring it over, and I'm going to show you what it looks like because it is super delicious. Well, there you have it. I cut you a slice of the pie I made the other night, and I have our finished pie that we made here in the video, and it's just beautiful. I'll show it to you here. It's just really pretty, and you wouldn't know it was no-bake just to look at it because it's just really pretty, and it just tastes amazing. I will say though, this is the one I didn't add as much. I didn't add any additional sugar to this, and while it is still delicious, this one is deliciouser. The filling of this one is much, it just hits all those notes just right. This one is wonderful. It's a little more on the savory side, but my whipped cream is still the same as this one. So you guys, you don't have to use whipped cream, like homemade whipped cream. If you are a new cook and you have never done this before, please don't worry yourself about such trivial things. Just go get yourself a tub of Cool Whip and let it be done. No one is going to fault you for that. Nope. We all have to do what is within the realm of our abilities, and sometimes we just have to know where that limit is for us. We shouldn't push ourselves, especially if we're attempting to do something for a holiday. My mom always taught me, never make a new recipe on a holiday. That's like a recipe for disaster. So always try it out before you do it. Take it for a test run. We have a little bit of time right now. We're about 3 weeks out. If there's something that you want to try, I suggest that you go ahead and do it. This pie is a great example. Give it a try. Simple ingredients, not super expensive. You can actually make 2 pies out of 1 can of pumpkin, so keep that in mind, and you're good to go. So I hope that you give this delicious no-bake pumpkin cheesecake pie a try, maybe for your Thanksgiving or anytime, sometime soon, and I hope that you love it. And until next time, I'll see ya.